Finally, what we might like to do here is send this out to some real-time animation. Now, the real-time animation really makes the scenes here. So let's remove our clip. Let's give it a bit of perspective. And let's go up to our LumenRT dialog box. Once we click on this, what it will do is start generating our LumenRT scene. Okay, and it will also then fire up LumenRT and give us our scene within there. So what we're going to work through is the process of turning something like this in LumenRT, which is what the model first appears at LumenRT, to something like this. So we're going to add animation, we're going to add mood, atmosphere, warmth, people, trees, grasses and the like. A very simple process, but turning something very basic into something very nice. Okay, so here is our model in LumenRT. So first things we should do first is really tidy up our scene before we start animating. And first things first, let's turn off concept trees there. We're going to add some much better trees, more suited to real-time animation. So in order to do that, we'll go to layers and we can turn off our plant tree. Great. The second thing we might like to do is flash up a few of the materials here. So, these materials come from OpenBuildings. So what we can do is add some much nicer materials here. So we may choose one of the lake options there. We might look at our grass as well. Make this a little bit more friendly. As you can see, we've got some grass that's actually looking a little bit better there. The background as well, that can be sourced from down here in terrains and ocean. So we can load a terrain. We may want to choose something that mountains might be a little bit further away, or you can have a quick look at a few different options there. Yeah, we could probably maybe go for something a little. Let's have a look at this one. Yeah, I mean, you can experiment and try different things. You can also, change a few of the aspects of the timbers as well. If you want it a bit brighter or a bit duller, you can do that too. Okay, we come for the concrete. Again, we may want to choose a different type of concrete. Give it a little bit of brightness. Alright, so you can see the scene is starting to liven up a little better already. One thing you do want to do, I think anyway, is to come and have a look certainly at your scene settings. And before I do that, I might just have a look at positioning the sun into maybe a better location. I don't mind seeing the sun in the scene at all sometimes. Just move that north around a bit. I think lower in the sky can add a little bit more drama to the scene. I tend to sometimes remove most of the clouds and I try and get the clearness up, but again, it's entirely up to your design. When you go back to this one here, I tend to liven the scene up a bit with a bit of exposure, a bit of gamma. I sometimes do drop the saturation down a little. I find potentially LumenRT scenes can be a little bit saturated of sorts. Move that around. I like to add a little bit of vignetting for a bit of drama. You can change the colour balance. You might want to warm the scene up a little. A bit of bloom doesn't hurt. I sometimes tend to up the ambient lighting as well. And there's things like dynamic reflections that you can add and things like that. Okay. Alrighty. You can play with the light flares and streaks and sun flares and so forth as well. Okay, let's add a bit more drama to this scene by adding a few trees. And you can see, look, the edges around here are a little rough and a little bit whatever, but it doesn't really matter because I'm not going to produce any of my images showing this stuff. I want to focus on the design, the lake and some trees. So let's go down to our tree area. What we may already have these in as a current selection. We can add a few more, I guess. To the scene as well. So let's tick that box and let's look at painting as opposed to placing individual trees. Okay, this is where we can paint. I'm just going to lower these sizes down a little and have a look at painting a few of these trees on the scene. And of course, after the trees go on, you may want to then think about changing some of those lighting settings because, obviously it's going to make a different effect once the trees are in. So let's have a look down in the scene now, because that's where we're going to be positioning our camera, and you can see a dramatic increase in the effect here of what it looks like once we put that animation in the scene. So what we might want to do now is just get a few people into the scene. A person sitting might be a good thing because these walls there are designed to be sat on. Oh, there we go. So this guy here, he's sitting on the railing. It's probably not exactly where we want him. Let's pop him down maybe here, and you can sit on the edge down there. We may also have a different person. Let's have a look at these two. So we'll just load those. Okay, so again, and what we might just spin her around so she's looking out over the lake. Alright, so let's get this out the door. That's it. Photo. And it's going to take a photo of the scene. And it's going to put it in this particular folder right here. So once you're happy with your scene, as you can see here, we've given it a lot more warmth and made it a little bit more abstract. Gave a lot more atmosphere to work with than what the default setting was when we came in. So once you've done that, it's time to deliver, and you can do a couple of things here. You can just hit the default camera here, which will give you an image to work with, and so it's a default file. But you can also then come over to your settings here. You come to your settings in the file area and look at photo options as well. And what you'll find with these photo options is you can alter things like the quality of the image and the size and things like that. You can also hit the save photo from here. And the end results can be quite striking. We can look at some of the images that we've created from here, and you can see that, we have some different moods, the difference between this one and this one. We've got a bit more blue sky in this one here, and a little bit darker this one, not so moody, more like the default that we're left with. By playing with those settings, we can certainly add some different moods to the scene. So the other way of delivering information from here is via an animation. A very simple way of producing your animation is by keyframes, so moving between one view to the next. So your animation can be produced down here So we can add our first view. So all we hit here is the Add Movie Clip button, and we'll add the first one to our clip, and then we can move into a different position. So we can just swing this around a little. And we might want to look back in this direction here. Just one thing to bear in mind though, these people up here are walking, so we might want to make them walk along the path so they're not walking and standing still. But anyway, well, let's capture the second image and we'll give that a quick run through just to have a look at the animation it might be producing there. We might just extend the timeline along a bit so it's a little slower, and then give that another little test run and have a look at what's going on there. Okay, so finally, let's have a look at these two people having a little walk. We'll have a look at the animation settings. We can draw an animation path. Let's have them walking sort of to there for the duration. And we could put another path in there, but we'll just leave it at that. And we'll do the same for this person here. We'll add an animation and have that person walking about the same. Okay, so let's have a look at our animation settings again. Okay, so from within the animation settings, let's choose this button here and export clip. And what you'll find is this dialog box. You have your resolution settings, destination on where you want to save your animation to, the quality from fast, standard to super fine, some encoder, different encoder types, whether you want standard view, panoramic or VR, frame rates to do with 3D glasses, and then finish off by hitting the OK button, and all that process through your animation, and this is what it will look like. So there we have it, from turning a very, very basic and bland model and view inside LumenRT to something quite dynamic, moody, animated, with a lot of life and colour. It can be done very simply with a few of these steps.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. If you want to see more such series, consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you, and see you next time.